private chef. He is an entrepreneur. He is a proud father of Xavier. He is a subject matter expert, SME in fitness and strength training. He is an advocate in healthy living. And folks, I can tell you firsthand, because I am one of his clients, that this guy knows what he's talking about. He holds you to the program that he sets for you. And it is just a joy to have him here to share with those of us who are leaders and executives in business and industry or your own companies, to understand how to keep it going and build your relationship with food. There was a conversation that had already started before I opened up the show, and I'm going to turn it back to Patrick. Welcome, my friend. Welcome, my son. And it's your mic right now. Go for it.
Greetings, blessings. Thank you. Peace to everyone that is here. It is an honor. I am so fortunate to be share this platform. I'm happy that Mama Gail, that you have seen my true growth and evolution to get to this point. I guess with our 25-year relationship. So thank you for having me here. It is an honor to be able to just share my experiences, my knowledge, my wisdom and insight when it comes to applying healthier habits to your lifestyle, to the workforce, and ultimately improving your relationship with food. Can we just go ahead and jump in with the question I was asked prior to?
Yes.
So it's kind of a complicated question. So can you please ask it again? Because I'm not going to be able to say the question correctly. But can we ask that again so I can break it down and how I can get some great feedback to it, please? And thank you.
Yes. Like I stated, I'm recently diagnosed as a diabetic, probably about 1.5 years ago. That was, of course, devastating news for me because I felt like I'm not going to be able to eat anything, basically. And so I enrolled in a couple of classes, took a couple of classes with Florida Hospital to kind of learn my new diagnoses and to understand how to eat better, and exercising as well. But like I said, my main problem for me, and I know and I recognize it, is being consistent. Sometimes I'm on a roller coaster. I can be exercising, eating well, doing real good. And then it's like I'll hit a plateau and then I'll stop. And if I stop, it's very, very hard for me to get motivated to get back on track. So, I just need to be consistent because I do need to lose a couple of pounds. I know if I lose a couple of pounds that my A1Cs will drop lower than what they are. It would just be overall just better for me. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Right. I thank you for being able to share the question again, because it's important for many people to hear it, because I'm sure somebody else may be in a similar situation. So I'm going to address that a couple different ways. And it really starts with defining your why. Recognize in the most important aspects in our life. And that's why I've really dedicated my energy and focus to our relationship with food. Because think about your own personal relationship with your parent, your kids, your spouse, lover, what have you. You keep those relationships for a specific reason. And they're never perfect, but you stay in that relationship for a reason. So when it talks about food, and now you're seeing the outcome of how food has impacted you, you need to understand the reason why you have to now have a better relationship and be more consistent with the foods that are going to give you the lifestyle you want. So is your why because you want to lose weight? Is your why because you want to feel better? You want to look better? Is your why because you don't want to deal with diabetes? You have to determine that. And once you determine that, now everything you do, everything you eat, every person that you are around is going to support that why. If you never develop a why, you're going to continue to have the experiences you're having. And you talked about the inconsistency. You talked about having a plateau. You talked about the weight fluctuations. So I can't make that decision for you. And I want to get you to understand the power that you have to actually determine that, yes, I want to make all of these changes. And this is what's going to happen to do that. because once you do that, it's going to help you be more consistent. It's going to help you get the actual, use the resources around effectively to help you. It's going to help you to listen differently. Because what I've had to learn, many people get offended when we start talking about changing food. We love food so much that doesn't love us that we will defend it until it kills us. If somebody, if you know that you're say your mother might make some amazing mac and cheese or some amazing fried chicken, and you tell somebody, I will never, if I would do anything, I'm not gonna get this fried chicken up. It blows my mind because some of the things we won't give up are the things that are actually killing us. But from a psychological standpoint, we've been so bombarded with commercials and information that we don't actually see the damage that's done by what we put in our bodies on a daily basis, because things have been made affordable, they've been made convenient, and on television, they're made to look good. But all of those things are actually breaking us down. And some of those same things have put you in a situation where now you're dealing with diabetes because you weren't born with it. So you didn't have type 1. It was created inside of you. Okay. And realistically, not pop. Some people will say that, well, you were genetically predisposed to it. I'm not a follower of that mentality. You have habits that may have been the exact same habits of anybody else in your family that had type 2 diabetes. But you didn't get type 2 diabetes because mommy and daddy and grandmom and granddaddy had it. If you were eating the same way, if you're exposed to some of the same external environments and had some of the same lifestyle habits, voila, this is what you had. You could have had this 5 years ago, you could have had this 3 years, but it was bound to happen because of your habits. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Am I saying anything off the mark? Let me know.
No.
Patrick, let me jump in real quick on that as well, because some of the things that you have shared with me in my re-education are foods that I already know about, already know how to shop for. Share real quick with Ms. Razor some of those alternatives. I know there are foods that I can't eat anymore. And you mentioned mac and cheese. I learned how to create
all day.
A veggie mac and cheese that is a lot healthier, better pasta because it's from veggie. Talk to the group and Ms. Resor about some of those alternatives to some of the bad habits that we strive to keep, but need to switch out and still have our, cake and eat it too.
So I will say this to be fair, that the majority of things, majority of foods that are soulful, fall into that soulful category that we love, that we grew up with, can be replicated in a healthier dynamic. And that's important for us to understand. So I actually make a non-dairy mac and cheese that tastes amazing. I've had people that are meat eaters that are shocked that there's no dairy in it. They fall in love with it. Some will even still get that itis feeling from it. All right. So it's very important to understand we can make swaps. So one of the swaps, the most important swap with a dish like mac and cheese, is understanding that dairy can be very, very toxic to us. Dairy can lead to inflammation. A lot of mucus buildup. Now, we're not going to go overly deep into the nutrition part because I know somebody listening will go and try to bash me over the head saying, well, it's all about the type of cow. We're not going, this is not the discussion for that. But understanding dairy can be dangerous to us. So we can replace that cheese with vegetables. And we use specific vegetables to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say vegetable, fruit, because squash are fruit because it has seeds. So we can use butternut squash. We can use onions. We can use tomatoes. That right there is the base of actually making our cheese sauce for a dish like this. And we'll get additional flavors. Some people like to use a product called nutritional yeast. Some people aren't fans of it, but nutritional yeast will give a cheesy taste. We can also add simply salt, black pepper, and a little lemon juice. And after you roasted those off, you put in a blender, break it down. And when you look at it, you add a little bit more water back to it. You'll be surprised that, oh, this is the cheese I've been missing. And then we'll also throw in some of the vegan, non-dairy cheeses that exist on the market. Depends on your feel. But if you're somebody that is not plant-based they're great transitionary products for you to keep you within a food comfort zone. And your pasta can still be a non-traditional pasta where you use a kamut type pasta, which is a healthier wheat grain. Some people can maybe even use chickpea pasta. I'm not a big fan of it because they kind of break apart. But so those are other alternatives, and you won't lose the taste because we can still season heavily the way you like, but we don't have to overwhelm with seasons that can be as acidic like garlic. We don't have to go too crazy with the salt, but onion powder can be your best friend. Paprika can be great for you. Seasons like dry oregano, basil can be great, but nothing's going to be fresh herbs. So go ahead and swap out the dried herbs and use fresh oregano, fresh basil, things that you actually grow in your garden. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm trying to jump back in on my laptop. So you guys.
Okay. You shared with me Dr. Sebi.
Yes. So
and
Dr.
the charts of recommended fruits and vegetables and other consumables that I can use and refer to. And when I go shopping, that has become literally my shopping list. All right. Just the re-education of how to eat and how to shop is important. Talk to our people about, hi, Angela. how to shop when we go to the grocery store. Don't go hungry, but how to properly shop.
Excuse me. So Dr. Sebi, for those that do not know, what was a man who dedicated his life to better understanding the healing powers of plants and basically fruits and vegetables. He was somebody that actually suffered. I believe he did have asthma. He had diabetes. He had a couple other ailments that he was able to heal himself from. Let me be cautious when I say heal, because I understand that from a public standpoint, can't say heal, but he was able to reverse the symptoms that he had for these different ailments. And he was able to reverse that through the foods and herbs that he consumed. All right. So he created a list based upon the research he did on these different herbs and these foods to find foods that are actually more beneficial to our bodies and less toxic because they're not acidic. I'm sorry, I'm switching over onto my laptop right now. All right, so I'm not going to run over the whole list.
We got an echo here.
Yes, I'm about to drop off of the phone and from my laptop.
Okay, awesome. Before, I want to keep this open, but, when we talk about the dietary piece, which we've started out in, how do we roll in and build a balance when it comes to the fitness and the strength training? I'll be the first to admit I'm 62 years old, and I have found that eating right and fitness is consistent fitness is what is keeping me young. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, when they get to a certain age, it's like, oh, I don't need that anymore. If I eat what I eat, I'll be okay. Talk to us a little bit more about that relationship, not just with the food, but the complementary balance of fitness. Because I think it's important.
Fitness is definitely important. One of the things I remind people, though, when we're in a position where we're not a professional athlete, we have to recognize that time is where we have to find a balance, because we're never going to outwork poor eating habits. Mm-hmm. As adults, especially professional adults, you're probably going to exercise maximum 8 hours a week, and that's a lot. So mostly you're probably going to exercise 5 hours a week, but I guarantee you're going to eat at least 20 hours. So just by the numbers, you have to understand that what we put in our body is going to play a huge part in either supporting or ruining what you're doing as far as what you do to your body in the exercise realm. So the exercise is going to be great for, first of all, your mental stability. Any professional, the stress you take on from dealing with clients, customers, employees, you need some way to release that energy. And exercise is a way that definitely is going to help with that, help with brain flow, blood flow to the brain. It's going to definitely help with just flexibility, overall your heart condition. So that's always going to be important. But I think one of the biggest things for working professionals is a way to release stress, because as you know, especially if you're at the top of the food chain and you run the business, you take on a lot. And sometimes your day does not stop at 5 o'clock, does not stop at 7 o'clock. So it's going to help you bring back in, get you back to your balance as far as focus. But we couple that exercise activity with the food choices we make, we want to make sure that they couple and work together well. Because some folks think, well, I work out so I can go ahead and enjoy that donut, or I worked out, I can have that meatloaf. Not necessarily. It doesn't work that simply, because especially when we're not 22 anymore, and once again, when we're not training 25 to 40 hours a week like professional athletes do, our body's not going to respond in the same way. So we have to understand how food impacts you. I've had to learn along this journey that there's no one size fits all. I've chosen to go plant-based, and I've been doing this since October 2019. I don't recommend every client, hey, go plant-based, but I will tell you, you must increase the amount of lightly processed foods, the more whole foods that you can have, fresh foods. You want to increase that in your life, yes. If you still feel that you can consume animal protein, and if you're able to simply live optimally, then that works for you. I'm not going to argue with that. But we have to understand our body's responses, and you are the owner of those responses. We can look at your blood work, and that helps. But at the end of the day, you're going to know from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, if you know that you're thinking, that you're moving, and you're feeling at the most optimal level for you. If there's aches and pains, if you're slow to do anything, those are our warning signs that we must pay attention to. And a lot of folks ignore them. We ignore it all the time. We may get up and hold our back and think, oh, it's okay, I normally do this. No, it's not. Pain happens for a reason. It's to signal something is not working properly, or that you need a little more strength in order to get through this. So something needs to be fixed. So we can't keep ignoring those signs. So the strength training is definitely going to help alleviate some of that, but we have to continue to make sure we're identifying foods that are supporting all the activities that we're doing.
You are probably my biggest conscience on my shoulder now. And I was so grateful when you sat down with me and did an evaluation on me a couple of weeks ago. It was about this time last month, because I've been on my plan for about a month. And I am truly working it, and having you there to check in with me every week is very helpful. I have a question for you from LinkedIn. Our LinkedIn listeners are live and active. And the question is, what are some things I can snack on to boost energy and are healthy when you're always on the go? That's my favorite word, snacks. So
my favorite word is healthy. And I want to just make sure I put this out there for the group, because healthy gets thrown around so many times, and I swear it annoys me, because I think some of us don't really understand what healthy is. So I'll take my quick definition. Healthy is what allows your body to function at its most optimal level. So that does not make you vegan, doesn't mean that you're a pescatarian or meatitarian, whatever it is. Whatever you're doing as far as internally, as well in your external environment, what allows you to function optimally. So we'll start there. So when it comes to snacks, I'm simple. I like things with few ingredients, which means we go right to fruit. Fruit is the simplest snack you can have to provide you energy that benefits you, and you know what's in it. When you go to the grocery store and grab an apple, guess what's in it? Apple. Go grab some mango, go grab things that don't even need an ingredient list, because you know what's in it. Those are the best things that we ignore all the time. We don't have to run to the middle of the aisle and look at these boxes and spend time reading ingredients. Grab fresh produce. Now, I don't know what your budget is, but if you are budget concerned, then buy conventional fruit. If you're not worried about a budget, spend a little more money and buy organic. If you don't know the difference, organic means that love is organic. There is a focus on how it was grown, there was a focus on what kind of seed went into the ground, and there's a focus on actually the chemicals that sprayed on that seed and on that crop. Organic means that those things are going to be slightly more healthy for you and less toxic for you. When it's conventional, all those different things I mentioned, they aren't washed as much. So you do get exposed to a few more toxins in that process. And I know we get home, we want to wash stuff off, but I'm here to tell you right now, don't get as caught up in the washing off process. You will wash off some external dirt, but let's be honest, plants are living entities like us. So if something was sprayed on it, it is inside of it. I have to make sure we understand that you're not going to wash off all the things that was sprayed in it. It's a part of it, but it's better than grabbing something that has 15 ingredients you don't understand, and the first 1 or 2 ingredients says sugar. All right, so go grab some fruit and keep fruit with you. That's the easiest answer right there.
I have started, it started as a hobby just to see if I could do it. But I now have been immersed into hydroponic gardening and some of the other gardening in the more traditional sense. And I can tell you folks, it tastes different. It has such a different flavor, and the energy that I feel when I eat food from my garden is just so, number one, rewarding, but gives me a feel of, I know where this came from. And it is organic in the true sense.
Exactly, that's empowering.
Yeah. Let me open this back up to our guests and see if anybody has anything else they want to add to Patrick's conversation while we have him on the line. The mic is open, folks.
If they don't, I want to go ahead and jump on some topics.
Angela.
Hi, nice to see you, Gail.
Hi.
Thank you for reminding me, because I had said I was interested, but you know how the day goes sometimes. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you, Steve.
This is
I actually have 2 sons. One who has had a weight struggle since he was practically born. He's always had, and I went over and over with him how he should, lose weight for his health. And finally, you know how that is. Until you take charge and acknowledge, nothing happens. So he finally did, and he's doing fantastic. But my younger one, he's still living with me. He is 26 years old. He has gained so much weight since the pandemic that I am worried, because recently he went to the doctor and he had high blood pressure, and he was put on medication at 26 years old. So from time to time, I've had conversations with him. So this topic came timely because I'm trying to empower myself with enough information to be able to help him out.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing this.
That's awesome.
All right, so let me jump into that. What biggest thing that your son has to embrace is that what he was doing led him to this point, and if he does not want to be in this point, we got to do things differently. That's where we have to start. When he can say, I do not want to live like this, I do not want to be on medication, then we're now going to acknowledge what I have done has gotten me here, but what I'm about to do is going to change that. So when he can mentally say that, we can move forward, and now we can address his lifestyle, one. So we got to think about, is he active? We got to think about, is he a homebody? We got to think about what other people he's around, because we can talk about the changes and he can do these changes, but if he's still around people that are doing things that support it while he got to this condition, he's going to fall right back. And we don't want that. So we want to acknowledge that his environment. But now when we talk about his external, when we talk about his internal environment, let's dive into the foods he's been eating since he was a kid. Because something that most people don't realize, food is addictive. And when we're in our 20s or 30s, when we've been eating a certain way, we have adopted 20 plus years of habits. 20 plus years of habits does not go away easily. So let's acknowledge that, which means we have a challenge to break 20 plus years of habits. We're not going to do that overnight. Some people are wired mentally to cut things cold turkey, but a lot of us won't. So when we get him to recognize these are the things I've been doing, these are the things I'm comfortable doing, we're going to be taking him out of his comfort zone by reducing, then eventually eliminating the things that created the situation he's currently in. Okay?
Can you talk, Patrick, can you talk real quick about, it's almost like well, you said addiction, but the withdrawals. You will have withdrawals.
Yes, it's not like an addiction. It is an addiction.
It
Food
is
is
an addiction.
addictive,
Yeah.
and certain substances like caffeine, sugar, processed sugar is one of the most addictive substances on this planet. There are studies that will support that processed sugar is as addictive, if not more addictive than cocaine. And what's scary is that many products, if your son has been shopping inside the aisles, meaning he's getting things inside of a plastic bag or some type of box, he's had something that has had sugar in it. So since he was a kid until now, he has been hooked on sugar. So when we start reducing those things, he's going to go through withdrawal. He's going to feel uncomfortable. He's going to be angry at times. He has to understand that's normal. It's okay. But this is what's going to get you in a position where you can actually have a higher quality of life. And I think that's what hopefully we all want, is a higher quality of life. So when we get him to acknowledge what he's been consuming and see it, now we can start redirecting him. And I never work with somebody in a way that says, hey, stop this, stop that. No, I don't want them to just stop at cold turkey, because more than likely they're going to pick it back up. We first got to get them to understand these are the effects of what you've been doing. Certain foods are going to increase plaque in your blood vessels. Certain foods are going to increase heart issues. They're going to increase fat, the saturated fats. We recognize that. And now we're going to say, these are foods that are going to help reduce these things. These are foods that are going to help lower your blood pressure. These are foods that are going to lower your cholesterol. These are foods that have less fat, less sugar, fewer carbohydrates. So we can acknowledge it. Now we want him to be in a position where he has the information to now make smarter choices and start to reduce the things that are hurting him. And while we're reducing, we want to increase the things that are helping him. And now in that process, we can actually psychologically help him improve, but then also taste-wise. Some of us don't make the switch because we don't think it's going to taste good. But most of us don't realize our taste buds actually do adjust. Mm-hmm. They will actually adjust and start to appreciate and demand foods that actually are healthier for us. But to get to that point, sometimes we got to fast. We got to cleanse, meaning we actually eliminate a lot of things. So if he's in a position to handle that, I would even recommend, let's go through a fasting process, 3 days, 5 days, maybe 7 days, because that will help his mind and his tongue adjust to newer foods that are going to be most beneficial for him and really get him in the right path, if that makes sense.
You know what? 30 minutes with you, my son, is just not enough. And I am unfortunately out of time. And
no, you did say this was gonna blow by. Dang.
And I want people to continue this conversation with you. And I have on my screen, my Let's Move the Needle page, because I think you have thrown a challenge out to all of us for me to continue with my check-ins and program, but for many who are on this line to get in touch with you. Patrick, he is my personal chief culinary cultivator. And this is, take a screenshot, everybody. But Patrick, I want you to say out loud how they can get in touch with you.
All right, thank you so much. So the cell phone number is the only contact number that I have. The email address that is listed is personal, so I'm going to give you my business email address. My business email address is for one of the companies I have, which is Mad Harvest, and that email address is P-A-T @madharvest.com, and it's spelled just like you see on the screen. That's Mad with 3 A's, because we have AAA quality in our products, like our cold pressed juice that we make. I also have my personal chef business, which is Blank Canvas Cooking. So you can reach me at Patrick at Blank Canvas Cooking, BLNK canvascooking.com. Those are 2 email addresses where you can reach me, but the cell phone is exactly what it is. And I definitely would love to continue this conversation and this discussion because we're still at the surface level. And I definitely want to help dive deeper into helping people improve their relationship with food, helping their family members make these improvements, because it's a process. Like I just said with Angela, 20 plus, 30 plus years of habits that have led us to certain unhealthy conditions take time to reverse, but they can be reversed. And I'm here to support you guys in that reversal process and helping us live as vibrant and as optimally as possible.
Well, here's my challenge to you. You know, we over the last 25 years have always challenged each other. And I want to bring you back in February. I've got January already booked because you know, Steve, who is our digital consultant here running this program for me, he said we are burning up the airwaves on this topic. It is hot, capital HOT, hot. And so I would like to do a special session in February from the second Thursday in February, whatever that date is, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, folks.
You get an hour?
I will give you an hour, and I want to bring you back, and we get more in depth on some of these conversations. This was awesome. And I know we've already gone over on our time with you today. I'm so appreciative of you giving us time. And I do want to bring you back so we can continue this conversation. Thank you so, so much. Do you have any final closing words for us?
The final closing words are a mantra that I share with you and I share with my clients. Please keep this in mind. Does this support the life you are trying to create? Keep that message in your car, in your bathroom, on your refrigerator, anywhere you need a reminder for all activities that you're doing, whatever lifestyle you're trying to create. Is your current action supporting that? Is your current mentality supporting that? Is your current verbiage supporting that? Because if it's not, then you deserve everything you're getting. So let's be positive and encourage. Yes.
Yeah, and you can't lead anybody if you don't feel good.
You really can't. You really can't. So starts from within. It's all about generational health. I was supposed to wear my shirt, so I guess this is also my last message. Yes. Generational health is the movement that we push, and it starts with we. So in your household, you can change this whole generation, just like what Angela's doing. We start from our household, and we can change and reduce the illnesses that we're dealing with every day. But we got to understand food and how it's affecting us, and how we get the food in that loves us as much as we say we love it. So I look forward to seeing you guys in February. I'm going to add my social media handles in the group chat right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, we do record these sessions. They will be available on the website, and they are recorded because we are live on Facebook and LinkedIn. So you'll be able to locate it on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. I thank you all so, so much. Please give Patrick a call, schedule your consultation with him, and take that commitment to yourself and sign up and let him take you to that next level like he's taking me. Thank you so much. And we will see you next month. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much. Everybody be blessed, be amazing, continue to be great. Thank you.
Be well.
Hey, Patrick and Gail, hold on before we get off.
Okay. That was awesome.
Yeah, 30 minutes.